Okay, hell yeah. Well, we gotta do the.
Are we live right now?
We are live.
Okay.
We gotta do the. If you want to do the honors, one of us has to clap to us to
Okay.
fix the audio.
Okay. And
Hell yeah. So later I can
Sound.
put that
Camera speed.
correctly. Hell yeah. So yeah. Welcome. Thanks for doing the podcast.
Yeah. Oh, my absolute pleasure.
You
Thank
are
you for
technically
having me.
the genesis of the podcast.
Oh, am I? I don't. Did I really? I couldn't possibly have been the first one to say, "Hey, you should have a podcast."
No. Yeah, there were many
I-
through the years, and I resisted for many years.
Yeah, you seem like someone who's pretty good at resisting. You seem
I
like
try.
a resistor.
I try.
That's good. A professional resistor.
But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
but you were like, dude, you have to fucking have. I mean, amongst others, you were like,
Yeah.
you have to fucking.
That's kind of funny because I don't have one. So it's like, who the fuck am I?
Yeah, but you were like, you know,
Yeah.
you especially.
Oh yeah.
You know,
No,
like-
listen, man. Come on, dude. I fucking go to the store, man, and it's like, well, once you start talking to Chris, it's like, you know you're gonna get somewhere, man. It's always a pleasure. It's always fun.
I don't see it, so it's like but I appreciate, you know,
Yeah.
it's just me, you know, I am like whatever, my material is opinionated
Yeah.
stuff, so or whatever, you know, I'm just
Yeah.
yelling whatever.
Yeah.
So like it helps to have this. Plus, like I said, everybody else also said, you know, you have to have this. And I have to
Yeah.
fucking be posting to Twitter and
God, now I'm
Instagram,
thinking I
even
should
though I
have.
fucking hate that shit.
See, that's something I don't have a problem with. I don't have a problem at all with Instagram or Twitter or whatever. I actually just made a Twitter yesterday.
A new one? Or for
A
the
new
first? Okay.
A brand new. Well, it's basically my first one. I had an account,
Yeah.
but I just made it and then never used it. Like, must have been like fucking 5 years ago or something.
Yeah, I've been
but
there.
I just yesterday revamped it. Gil Thomas with, and I'm really excited about that. I'm not trying to like plug anything right now.
Oh, it's fine.
But
It's yourself, as long
Right.
as it's not like, you know, major corporate
But
whatever.
I'm excited about the name. It's Free Gilly.
Okay.
I
There
think
you
that's
go.
fun.
I never saw the
You
original movie.
You never saw Free Willy?
No, but I get the reference. So I work.
Yeah.
But okay, so you're gonna start tweeting.
Yeah, and I don't really have a problem with it.
I mean, it's been a while for me. Like again, I did not. I signed it in like 2010. Did nothing with it for like
Right.
5 years, 6
Yes.
years. Then did it for like a year and a half. Found it to be fucking all the things that people find it to be, and so I stopped doing it about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, if nothing else,
Mhm.
you could tell people about shows on it.
Right. Yeah, and as far, it's an occupational hazard in what we're trying to do. Social media being triggered by certain things. Like, I see plenty of shit that I would rather not see that would, like, piss me off. I get very angry at a lot of dumb things, like, but, you can always unfollow people. So
Yeah,
there
and
you go.
that's part of it, I guess. That's the culture of Twitter, is to fucking get mad about shit.
Right, yeah. I get mad about people getting mad about shit.
Yeah, there you go. A lot of people do get mad. Yeah. Yeah, which kind of, is a paradox. It feeds back on itself. at that
Yeah,
point.
well, I think it might be a closed loop.
I get it, though. Yeah.
'Cause-
It maybe
Because I get mad at people
who get
getting mad.
But then you're mad, too.
I am mad and they're mad. I'm mad at them being mad.
Yeah.
Nobody's getting mad at me. Well, maybe I am.
No, yeah, people get
See,
mad
I'm getting
people
mad
who get
at
mad
me.
people who get mad.
Right. I get mad at myself for getting mad at other people getting mad.
Right.
That's what.
Right, no, yeah.
That's the
And
side.
I think it's an infinite regress or whatever. There's the people, especially
Infinite
the people who
regress.
people get pissed at the PC shit, and then people who hate people or whatever. People do PC shit, then people get pissed.
Is
at the
there
people who do
no-
PC shit, then people get pissed at the people who get pissed at the PC.
Oh God.
And then
It's always something, man. God.
It's a fucking anger machine.
Right. Yeah. So, but I mean, listen. I use it for exactly what it is, which is social media. It's a avenue for you to express yourself or post something that you thought was amusing. Basically, it's just very subjective.
Right, and the thing that that reminds me of like some of the because it's for the masses, it's for everybody to do that. But for me, like I've been doing stand up, and then for years and years past before that, doing music and shit, and I didn't feel the need to have that outlet. But I think the vast majority of the people on Twitter who are making those things aren't producing. They're not working on something else, and that's why they're using that.
Oh, right.
That gets their fill. So it reminded me of like people. A lot of people I know go out and do karaoke, and I'm like, I never did karaoke. I sing in a band.
So
or I yell in a band. So
right.
like,
Yeah.
There was
so, but there is fun to be had at. I mean, I sing in a band.
Right.
But there is fun to be had in karaoke. Here's the point.
Okay.
Is that so? The categorical imperative, right? Categorical imperative.
It's been a while, but
okay.
Refresh the listeners and myself.
The categorical imperative is to treat every individual, and you can see that as a person or as an instance or experience or whatever, not as a means to an end, but as an end in and of itself. Okay. So with Twitter, right, there are different ways to use it, and one of the ways is just as a means to an end. It's just marketing.
Right.
I'm just out there promoting.
Right.
There's no pleasure in that.
No, yeah, that's why I haven't done it yet.
Very robot.
I'm supposed to start doing it, and I haven't done it in 2 years or whatever.
But you can. So the idea is to treat it as an end in and of itself. So find
find some joy in it that is not.
It's there, man. It's there. Yeah, that's why I mean when I say that it's subjective. It's like you can express it, you can do whatever you want with it. It's just a tool that's there for you to use however you want.
Right, and you don't have to use it the way that everybody else uses it, despite however many forces are trying to get you to use it the way that everybody else uses it.
You know what I did, man? It must have been a month ago. I just fucking went on a crazy unfollow spree, and I just unfollowed attractive women. I just
don't
went
think I'm even
through.
following attractive.
That's probably good. But yeah, I just went through who I was following.
Because you had too many asses in your feed.
Yeah. Well, listen. Not every attractive girl is just posting pictures of their tits or whatever.
Right.
But a lot of them are.
Right.
And so it was just sort of scorched earth, napalm.
Right.
Just like
yeah.
Sorry.
Like,
some of the civilians are gonna go, but
Right, but you were just their marketing was getting. It was turning your feed into porn, and you weren't.
Yeah.
You got that's in some domain, and now you got this is the domain I'm trying to.
And God bless them.
On arguing with people, I can't jack off at this time.
Exactly. No. Yeah. See, that's the next step. That's the next frontier. Is people who take it too seriously.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I get it. So in that, let me check the audio really quick just a minute, because this is low rent as fuck.
Yeah.
But it's working.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I wanted to, because I said I was gonna start saying something, but then I said that we should save it for the podcast.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say that thing.
All right. Hell yeah.
Is that before I forget?
Hell yeah.
Because I had a year or so without a car.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to get to the Comedy Store every Monday. I fucking had to do it. I was going to fucking do it. So I would take public transportation, and I would have my bike. So I'd ride from Vermont and Sunset, I think? Vermont and something.
Right, over there in Echo Park area or whatever.
No, yeah,
or whatever it's called.
But so
East Hollywood.
It was almost a mile to the Comedy Store from that station. So I would ride my bike. I would take the public transport and then ride my bike from there to the store. And this happened 3 times. I would stay too late at the Comedy Store, and talking to people as you do. And you hang out, you have fun, and just feel the magic of the area, and time flies at the Comedy Store.
Oh yeah.
And it would be too late, and I would miss the metro.
Oh, there's no late bus.
And I live in Pasadena, so I would just ride my bike. We're talking 2, 3 in the morning, 20 miles.
Damn.
20 miles.
Yeah.
From L to Pasadena.
Yeah. That's a fuck of a way.
Yeah, dude, I did that 3 times. Isn't that crazy?
That is.
You ever gone 20 miles?
I've ridden a
not
bike
in a car.
Probably 10 miles, and that was fucking brutal. And it was only to fucking
Yeah.
go pick mushrooms at a place with a friend of mine. And for some reason, we didn't have a
That
working
sounds-
car that day, and so we fucking biked all the way out into farmland.
Yeah, and you're all
like,
sweaty as fuck.
Oh yeah. And then you go pick the
And then you go-
mushrooms.
what's
and
it
then
called?
You have to
Forage?
ride back, and riding back was uphill.
Uphill,
Yeah.
and you got a heavy ass bag of shrooms, dude.
Yeah, it was fucked up, but we did it. We did it and walked back part of the way because it wasn't steep uphill, but it was uphill, And after going all the way there, and then all the way back. But yeah, 20 miles, especially to Pasadena. That's some fucking hills and shit.
Oh, dude, so many hills, and also, I'll say this: a couple of the times were in the month of October, which we
Yeah.
all know is a scary month, spooky month because of Halloween.
Right. Okay.
So, I'm not gonna lie. There's a little bit of that, a little bit of being afraid of the dark alleys and stuff.
Okay.
It's very quiet, and dark and gloomy.
On the way to what are you going through, Glendale?
Dude, I don't even fucking know. Because here's another thing, dude.
It's like
Is
just
that I wouldn't have a charger
Yeah.
because I'm on.
Because I've always just taken the 134. I don't know the
Dude,
non-highway ways through there.
Guess
on a bike.
what? Me fucking neither.
Yeah.
Dude, because my phone would die.
Fuck.
Because I don't have a charger on my or portable charger.
Yeah.
So my phone would die. So that happened 3 times. I had to, from my mind, get from the Comedy Store to Pasadena, 20 fucking miles, and I figured it out every time. And by the 3rd time, I kind of got it. Like once I hit Figueroa, I'll be okay. But just
For those of you who don't know, that's a road somewhere in the vicinity.
no, yeah, you don't
of-
hit. I would hit my friend Figueroa. I hit him in the face, and then I knew where. Then I knew I.
No, but
was.
yeah, and I was trying to guess the vicinity. I don't even know. I've seen seen it, but I don't remember exactly.
Listen,
where.
it's. Yeah, you're right. It's Glendale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And then I'll be like, okay, well,
But that seems fine. Like it seems like a good biking. Whatever. There's a lot of paths and stuff. A lot of sidewalk.
yeah. Listen, it was great, but
Okay.
there were a lot of wrong turns.
Okay.
A lot of
it can
time-
be confusing. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and you're
we both
really
delivery
tired.
drive, so we know it can get confusing as
Very,
fuck.
very confused,
in
especially
LA.
when you don't have GPS.
Yeah.
And you're dehydrated, and you're really tired, right? Because you've been biking.
Yeah. And it's
And
middle
you're
of the night.
and you're scared because it's the middle of the night and it's October, dude, and those ghouls are out. Those ghouls and the.
You don't believe in the actual supernatural
I don't know if
monster stuff.
I don't know if I do, but listen, man. Middle of the night, alone, no phone. I'll believe anything, man.
I mean, you're just talking Kant philosophy. And you're like, but I also believe in spirits.
Well, in the heat of the I don't know if I believe in spirits, but in the heat of the moment, man, I get scared. Dude.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
you
afraid
know,
of the dark.
yeah.
Dude, I fucking love horror movies, but they also still scare the shit out of me. I'm 30 years old.
Okay.
I'm still afraid of the dark.
Hell yeah.
Like, I'm getting better at it, but
But
like
it's
if
there.
I watch a horror movie and then go to bed,
Yeah.
it's gonna take me a sec.
I'm not usually. Yeah. I mean. But yeah, I also haven't, been in circumstances, rarely, where I'm. But and again, if you're ever at the Comedy Store, there's a ton of other people around. You could ask for a ride back. I would have given you a ride back, man.
I know. No, here's the thing, dude. I got the bike, dude.
Yeah, but you could leave the bike there and go back the next day and get it when when the bus is running.
I guess.
I mean, it's a pain in the ass, but it's less of a pain in the ass than riding a bike back at 3 a.m.
Yeah, maybe I just kind of did it on purpose.
Yeah, you want.
And at the end of the
adventure.
day, maybe
Yeah.
up deep down, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah, you were like, can I bike
But see,
all the way back through the mountains to Pasadena?
Right, and I did it,
Yeah.
and which is awesome. But yeah, I get that is that's the lengths. Those are the lengths to which I'm willing to go, in order to avoid, inconveniencing
You're
another
right,
person.
Right. That's actually
Like
good.
I'm the kind of like if I order food at a restaurant and it's not what I ordered, I'm not gonna say shit.
Right.
I just
not a complainer.
I guess not.
Yeah. Don't want to bother other people. That's a good trait, man.
Yeah, well, but then it can be.
I mean, unless you got killed by the bicyclist murderer
Right.
in that,
See, then
it would have been bad. But
and the risk was high.
But no,
It
I mean,
wasn't.
you know.
It wasn't high. It was
But still, it's you know, it's definitely something like, you know, a lot of people. I mean, I know a lot of people who will be, you know, we give each other rides all the time at the end of the night. Like, I mean, I'm giving people rides, other people are giving people rides. It's like there are people who need a ride occasionally, not to Pasadena, but still.
Right.
But still, but I would, you know, like, because I know, yeah. But again, you wanted the adventure, blah blah blah. Maybe you found some mushrooms on the way back too. You never know. There are people who sell mushrooms, right?
Why? I guess, yeah.
It's conceivable.
Of course.
Yeah, but yeah, in fucking backwoods Florida, you can just fucking find that shit.
Wow. Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, you thought, years and years ago.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about you driving up to Bakersfield or something.
No, is that where they are here?
I don't know.
Yeah, because there is farmland, but it's also a very different sort of terrain, so I don't know.
Yeah. No, you're right.
To what extent they're in that.
Yeah. Damn, dude. So you did a lot of mushrooms or what?
Oh fuck yeah. Yeah, man.
Okay, man.
You live in an area where, like, 10 miles away,
Yeah.
you know, outside of the college town, there's just fucking farm.
Yeah.
And yeah, in every direction. And you know, people let each other know where the fucking best places are. And
So
you go
you
out
would
there and
go forage for your own
hallucinations.
magic,
Yeah.
for your own hallucinogens.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I
isn't
did.
that amazing, dude?
It was very fucking cool. It was
That is
very
so
fun
cool.
and like holy fuck. And you know, and before that, you know, because it's still pot and all this stuff is still illegal in Florida, sadly.
Okay.
That should be overturned immediately, but it won't be.
Yeah.
But if the you know, because at the time, you know, I was smoking a ton of pot. I was doing a ton of acid or whatever. But you know, once I started doing acid, I was also, you know, introduced to shrooms or whatever, and went around because we live in fucking, you know, rural, basically.
Yeah.
You know, north central Florida. There was so many fucking places. Yeah, and it was so but you know, you'd wear shitty shoes because you were gonna step in cow shit all over the fucking place, and you'd go out into the fields and fucking hug the tree line and find the good shrooms that
cow
you know.
pie.
Yeah.
So damn, dude. So that's the kind of mushrooms you're talking about. Literally, cow shit.
Yeah, coming out of cow shit. Each one you
Mushrooms.
pick, you are picking out of.
Because I mean,
cow
I
shit.
hear that I hear about that, and I've done mushrooms I think 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
But you don't think about
Where it comes from.
is it all cow shit? There's got to be other ways to get
Maybe other.
the what is
shit.
it, psilocybin or Amanita muscaria
I mean,
or whatever.
there are people who grow it. There are people who grow it like in house or whatever. There's
Right.
ways to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was so easy there.
Actually,
to go,
now that I think of it, I was living with my friend, and he made his own.
yeah.
I was living with a couple people for like a year, and yeah, we ate his mushrooms that he made in like this bag,
Hell yeah.
and it was great.
Yeah, no, I
was
remember even
great.
one time being out of the field and having these whatever friends, because we go out in groups or whatever, and somebody had like fucking, you know, some nice gloves or whatever.
Yeah.
And we just picked up a huge chunk of cow shit and brought that back and put it in my backyard.
Yeah.
And knowing you could kind of see
Just
the little
a
things.
bag of cow shit.
Yeah, and
but
like,
you could know what to look for.
Yeah,
in it.
we knew that. Okay, look at this. This is
Wow.
in a day and a half or 2 days. This is
Damn.
going to be great, and it was.
So
Yeah.
what is it? Why cow shit though?
Oh,
Why does it have to be a cow?
I don't know. Maybe it doesn't, but maybe it does. I really don't know.
What
dick
is it about the intestinal lining of a cow that unlocks the potential of the universe
I don't know.
in our
know.
pineal
There
glands?
it must be some. But yeah, it is an extraordinary thing, and it was. I mean, it wasn't easy to fill a trash bag, but it was easy to fill a fucking grocery store bag of shit, you know. And that was fucking awesome. But it took skill. Looking,
You know,
you know, and
Sure. Yeah. It took a couple Google searches.
Yeah.
And then you're.
oh no, it was before that shit even. Like, I mean.
Oh, okay,
I mean,
okay.
way to fuck back.
What's the word for a myceliologist? Myceliologist.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The
expert in mushrooms.
mushroom expert, myceliologist.
Something like that. Mycologist, maybe.
Mycologist, probably. Yeah. You were just an instant mycologist. But yeah. What was I gonna say? I love that just as like a metaphor for life. Like, you know, when you think about it, like that's the method like broadening the horizons of your consciousness
Yes.
and opening your third eye and all that shit is literally in shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, because
Like-
fungus tends to grow in nasty ass places.
Right.
So I guess cheese goes through the same process of being
I guess you're
dank,
right.
nasty fucking garbage, and then it becomes this fucking delicacy.
Yeah, I love that. Isn't that great?
Yeah, nature's strange like that, man.
Yeah, right?
Like, yeah, we still don't know a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of nonlinear sort of aspects to nature or whatever in that sense. Like the whole something great can come out of something horrible.
Well,
Sometimes, but not often.
right, that is true. That is true. It's got to be the right shit at the right time.
Yeah. So it's a rare combination, but it does happen.
Yeah.
With particular sort of situations, like a fungus, a mushroom. It's not a usual sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's its own fucking whatever kingdom,
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
the fucking biologists use. You know, their classification system.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you want to hear about my final mushroom trip?
Sure. Was it like I'm never doing it again kind of final mushroom trip?
In a sense, but not in a bad way.
Okay.
Not like, oh my god, I'm never doing it, but just like, okay, I've arrived.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
And basically, long story short, we take mushrooms in the desert, but we're in my friend's grandma's house. So it's like there's old African antiques everywhere for some reason.
Okay. And this is up in desert area.
This is in Palm Desert.
Okay.
In California. And so I get sick because I ate the mushrooms with a tangerine. And you should probably eat your mushrooms with like something a little more fluffy, like bread, something so that your body lets it go through.
I rarely ate them.
So it can metabolize. Oh, really?
Yeah, we would always just put them in a pan of slightly boiling water and squeeze the psilocybin juice out of them, the purple juice.
So it's
out of
like
them.
a tea.
Yeah,
Wow.
but we wouldn't even make the tea. We would just make the purple water, and then put it in the freezer,
The purple water.
and then fucking chug it.
Of
And
course, it's
chase
fucking
it. Yeah.
purple. So you're telling me, so that's the color of the good stuff.
Yeah.
Purple.
At least in that kind of, which is one of the most common types of mushroom. Yeah. It was this
Purple.
purple. Yeah, and it had the mushrooms had like a little purple skirt on them, like on the stem, which is one of the ways you knew what was the right mushroom.
Wow, purple.
And when you picked it, you'd see, because it's white on the stem or whatever, you'd see a little purple juice at the bottom in the middle of it.
Wow.
So yeah, but yeah, we would, because I occasionally ate it, but almost always we'd chug it and then chase it with a strong soda or something, so you didn't have the mushroomy taste, because that shit could get nasty. And it was,
absolutely.
like,
Yeah, it can be nasty. See, again, not only does it come from shit,
Yeah.
but as you might expect from something that grows from shit, not the most pleasant thing to taste, which makes you wonder, how did these people figure out that this is the good stuff? Like, how did they? I guess they had a lot of time.
Yeah, and there's always the defer to third person strategy. I'm sure any number of people at a certain point in early tribal society were like, okay, get all the things that are on things that might possibly be food and feed it to this animal and see if it dies.
There you go. Yeah, trick it. You're right. And then they probably gave it to like I don't know, like one of their dogs. They probably had a dog at the time. I don't know.
Right.
But whatever animal they gave that mushroom to, probably
Right.
displayed
They
some
saw it
interesting
trip out,
behaviors.
and they're like,
oh, maybe something worth.
It doesn't seem like it got hurt, but it seems fucked up. Let's try it.
Yeah, it seems like it fucked up, and I could use a buzz
Right,
because
yeah.
I am in a constant state of trying not to die. So yeah,
And
but anyway,
relaxation.
so what happened was, actually, one quick digression,
Hell yeah.
and then I will.
No,
I'll bring
many
it all.
digressions, please.
I know,
That's what it's all about.
But it was like one of my great skills when I used to just rip bongs in my garage with my friends. So I was always I would be the one to bring it back, dude, to what we were talking about, and which is like for stoners, it's like a miracle. It's like if you're in a room full, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
and I
that's
would
a
always
core
pride myself
skill.
in that ability.
That's a core skill for anyone,
For
but
any drug
particularly
taker.
for the
Cannabis.
let's say, the business we're into. All right.
Right. Well, I guess that's true. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so you mentioned the color purple. I heard that that's like the last color ever found, because so purple represents like regal, represents royalty, right? Represents like wealth, right? purple. The color purple.
You mean like found in human beings were like, holy shit, what's this?
Yeah,
It's a new
right.
color.
So purple as a color.
In dyes and stuff like that they found like around the Mediterranean or something.
Yeah, like exactly around the Mediterranean. It was seen as if your robes were purple, that meant that you had so much fucking money, dude.
Right.
Because it could only be found from the ink from this very rare sponge-like creature in the Philistine Isles around there, those are the Philistines, and so yeah, it was so rare, and so like imagine seeing the color purple for the first time.
Right, exactly.
You
Imagine
know?
seeing a brand new color. It's pretty nuts.
And it is an interesting color when you think about it.
Yeah, especially back then, nothing was that color. So you see something and you're like, okay, what is this, bad or good?
Yeah.
Or just and then they
Anyway, so it doesn't surprise me that something so magical would be purple.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the shroom trip. So here's what happened. I ate it with a tangerine, and so I got sick, right? And so I was in my toilet, in front of the toilet, and then
puking. And both.
Things started to kick in. Started to lose a little bit of control. I'm losing a little control. I'm like, oh God, what's happening, right? And my body wants to puke, but my mind wouldn't allow it. So my body and my mind were clashing, and there was a disturbance in the mind-body connection.
A great battle.
Yeah, and I was just sitting there, like I was trying to barf, while on you know that feeling when like it's about to happen, like the roller coaster. Like during that time, I'm literally just sitting in front of a toilet, and I can't fucking do it. I can't fucking puke. And I stand up, and center of gravity's all fucked up. I'm loopy, and I'm not feeling great. So I lay down and I take off all my clothes. And I lay down in the bed, and then I feel myself becoming the bed. I feel myself my body disintegrates into the bed, right? My eyes are closed. Then I become the room, and I am the entire room. My consciousness is expanded to the entire room. I feel everything the room feels. I hear everything.
The room is your new body, or
That's
whatever.
right.
Including your body, but including everything else too.
I am the room.
Yeah.
Then it expands, right? Then I'm the whole house, right? And I'm literally like seeing. I'm not seeing, but I'm experiencing other rooms where other people are.
Yeah. Where you know the basic layout, so it's kind of like,
right?
Your mind, your imagination going wild with the cool.
Yeah, and so I feel that my friend is like wrapped in this like comforter, rolling around on the floor, and I feel that. I don't see because I'm in the other side of the house.
Right.
And he's not making any noises, so I can't hear him. And my eyes are closed, but with my expanded consciousness, I know that that's happening in another room, right? That's a little foreshadowing. But so then it keeps expanding exponentially to the point where there is a limitlessness to my consciousness, right? And I'm not a body, and then all I become is just undulation, just breath, just the breath, right? And it was really cool. Which is, everything breathes, right?
Yeah, and that's that classic nitrous thing, the womp, womp, womp,
womp.
That kind of thing is like an in-out sort of.
Yeah, and that's such like a fundamental aspect of life itself.
Emotion and all.
Everything kind of does that. Everything breathes. Even the universe itself, right?
It's a good metaphor for like that type of process of something going somewhere and then going back there.
Yeah. See, I think because like people are like, oh, the universe is expanding exponentially, and so there must have been a big bang. There must have been an infinitesimal point from which it exists.
Mm-hmm.
See, I think it's breathing. I think the universe is just expanding and contracting, just like everything else.
That was one of the earlier theories.
Yeah.
But then they found evidence that it was accelerating.
Yeah, whatever, dude. Well, guess what? Of course it accelerates exponentially, dude. So do our lungs.
And then back.
It's spherical. It's circular expansion.
But But the point is, you see this similarity in nature all over the place of this sort of this sort of aspect of things. So now you are. How far out did you go? You were the whole universe.
I thought I was, but then I realized that Well, yes and no, right? I mean, because I was also just not that. I was, a tiny little particle. You know what I mean? You know.
Yeah, the large and the small kind of.
Just the part of our minds that is so fundamental that it is shared throughout all creatures, all things throughout the universe.
Right, the basic unit of consciousness.
Yeah,
kind of
that's
thing,
what I
Hell yeah.
I tapped into, not by any effort on my part.
Yeah,
Just sort of I
going
just
into bed.
was
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the trip.
Hell yeah.
And then I came out of it, and it was absolutely wonderful. All I could do was laugh, because I had arrived. I had been to the void. I had been to what I believed to be the afterlife, and I had returned, and it was great. It was really fun. I was so happy to be alive and be who I was, and all I could do was laugh, and my friends thought I was absolutely insane, because it had been like 6 hours. That I was just like, they were like, where the fuck's Ryan, or Gil. And then that was during a time, that was pre-Gil.
Yeah, but that's part of your name.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. But so then I asked my friends, like, hey, so I had this like weird thing that happened where my consciousness was expanding and I became the house. Were you rolling around in your comforter? He was like, yeah, dude, I was literally doing that exactly like I described what he was doing. He was like, yeah, I was doing that.
Hell yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
Hell yeah.
I guess. So yeah, and then I was like, I'm good for a while.
Had you ever seen him do that before?
No.
Did you hear something that sounded like that in the other room?
I don't know.
Hell yeah.
I don't think so because I was on the other side of the house.
True.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
But it was
yeah.
just fun in the moment to have that little experience.
Oh fuck yeah. Yeah, that's part of the magic of the mushrooms.
Right, yeah. I'm not saying like I'm special in any way. It's just like
No, that's a very
Yeah.
People have those types
Right,
of
yeah.
whatever clairvoyant type of experiences.
You're right,
or whatever,
yeah. Or like parallel, where like you're both parallel hallucinations.
Yes.
Where you're both like seeing the same thing.
Right. Now a lot of that can be, people are very suggestible, and after the fact, if you go, hey, were you doing this? Yeah. Like without
Yeah.
it really being like.
That's true.
But in general, there is a type of seeming commonality in experience when people are tripping together. That whatever, we don't have the ability to measure whatever, but maybe someday we will. I don't know. But it's
Right.
yeah. But there's definitely that's one of the traits when they bust down how people experience hallucinogens is that there's time dilation, there's that sort of common hallucinatory experience.
Right, yeah.
There's a few like common experiences, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, probably like just empathy, right? Like sensitivity.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the environment,
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, a feeling
Heightened
of
senses.
exactly the expanding sense of self.
Yeah.
And the shrinking sense of self. I guess the playing with the sense of self kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, neither of us are experts.
Definitely not.
We are practitioners.
Yes,
To a certain
I've done a
extent.
lot of practitioning,
Yeah.
but yeah, like the,
Enthusiasts.
I mean, technically, no one's really an expert in that shit yet. It's not. It's only now I think only a couple people have a license to study it,
Wow.
and the government here and elsewhere still very much restricts it because they are
Of
very
course,
afraid
they don't want.
of drugs that expand consciousness.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feed into their best interests.
Well, I would argue that it does, but they're just too ignorant to fucking see that.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But I get, it definitely, according to their perspective, they see it as a threat. And historically speaking, it is a threat to their douchey authority. It is a threat to their piece of shit, garbage systems that they have set up.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we do. I mean, as a society, in order for us to function, there does need to be a certain level of governance, I think.
Oh yeah, no, I meant like the
but-
more, I get the whole nature
We have gotten way out of hand.
it's
It is.
And again, it's a very complicated animal too. It's science again doesn't to the degree that it should. I would argue study what I would think that political science is should go very much further than what I've seen political science do, and in terms of in-depth analyzing government systems and the dynamics that occur between them. They're getting there in some respects, but there's a very large unknown as far as the self-organizing properties of these systems, and how all these corrupt incentives and convergence of interests happen, and you end up with a basically as many people have talked about, a bunch of organizations that optimize and incentivize psychopaths to rise to the top and then compete against each other in a stupid game.
It's almost its own entity. It's almost just separate from actual life itself.
Corporations and government agencies.
The governing body has become totally separate from the people that it's claiming to, have at its best interest at heart.
And it always technically kind of like, any of this one, because I consider like a corporation to be like a mini government or whatever.
Absolutely.
That tries to be, and helps. Today, many major corporations are bigger than most governments.
Absolutely.
But the similar, the nature of their activity and their size and their expanding and all of these things, it has some of the properties of an organism without being an organism. There's a reification as a concept in sociology and political science or whatever. You don't want to, it's not alive, but it has some of the growth properties and the self-interest properties based on the players that are in it, the agents that are in it, the people who have their own interests. They're trying to get a better job. They're trying to get more pay. They're trying to get more funding for their program, more authority, more status, more fucking medals, whatever stupid shit is their incentive.
Yeah, man. And but in that sense, it seems like, much like nature, it's actually indifferent. So it's not that. So, for instance, it's not that nature is cruel. It's not that nature hates you.
Right.
It's that it's precisely nature's indifference.
Right. It's like an ignorant machine just doing what it's doing without any consideration of you.
Exactly.
And government agencies do that too. Corporations do that too. Yeah, they just kind of go on their own internal logic and fuck anything that's in the way.
So it's almost like the motive itself has its own consciousness that drives, and then all these people who have families and mortgages and paying the rent, they're all really just cogs in this machinery.
Right. That seems like it has a motive.
But what is the nature of the machine itself?
Well, a lot of that, like, because incentive structures can just kind of move a system, kind of like a flock of birds or whatever, in a way towards things without it technically being, pursuing it on purpose. It is technically all the individual birds making the decisions within it that then cause the whatever is happening.
So, and I think Terence McKenna talks about that a lot. I think he called it Terence McKenna had a notion of the singularity that now people talk about the singularity as specifically regarding AI.
Right, and when humans
self-aware.
fuse with
but
machine.
Yeah, Terence McKenna had a more broad sense of the singularity, and he called it the strange attractor at the end of time. So it's this. So evolution itself, as a force, as a phenomenon, seems to be either there is either a pull towards, or a push towards the future, towards some kind of outcome, or a pull from the past and a constant reaction. So these, I don't know, like the ocean. So you're constantly responding to what just happened, and then so there's so I guess that would be the push. But
but where is it going? Is the
right?
But here's the thing. That's an interesting metaphor that he used or whatever by calling it the strange attractor.
Yeah.
Because that's an actual principle in a scientific discipline, chaos theory or whatever. Chaotic dynamics would, which is I think an example of it is the flock of birds thing. When they're in a bundle or whatever, a school of fish, similar sort of thing. I think those map out mathematically as strange attractors of some type. But it's a strange attractor for people who don't know. Like an attractor is like gravitation attracts to the center of the earth. It's a very linear attractor. It goes straight to a certain point. Everything is pulling towards that point. most attractors in nature are that. They're going to, but a strange attractor was something they found that doesn't go to a point. It does this weird sort of fucking like thing that has a pattern to it, but is weird and kind of changes all the time, even though it has a sort of, seeming structure to it. And that's, and that's a very oversimplified definition of like chaos math in general is it's, pictures that are of that sort of type. It's not it's not a system where a drain just goes down or gravity just pulls towards the center of the earth. And it's also not stochastic. It's not statistical. It's not out in the fucking world of randomness. It's this in between stage of dynamics where shit gets weird. And so they called that type of attractor a strange attractor, and there's fucking math of all the different types of whatever of shit. And,
Jesus.
But yeah, they can go without any motive or whatever. So these properties in nature, these things can go, once it gets into a dynamical system of that sort of type, it's not necessarily alive and pursuing something. It's kind of just going on whatever historical lock-in brought it to that point.
So running off of basically momentum and...
Right, whatever inertia, whatever it had going already, yeah, exactly.
Right.
And yeah, that's also a very young science that people are really good at a lot of it now to varying degrees, but the application of that knowledge to nature and society is still, while expanding, young, as far as, maybe 30 years or something of people working on that, like in depth. The early 80s was really an explosion of it, but like it's there's a lot probably to be learned, because a number of things that are very complicated and baffle us still about the universe are of that type of thing,
Yeah. Shit, man.
But but McKenna, I've heard people discuss for so many years. I listened to a couple things, but I never really.
Oh, really? I would think that you would be a big McKenna guy.
I mean, I like his stuff, but he also like got a little spiritual with stuff, a lot of the time, and
sure.
And less scientific, more like guru-ish.
Well, he's expressing his theories.
Yeah.
About things. So he definitely has theories about the nature of a lot of things.
Right.
A lot of different things. But I mean, he's a goddamn one of the one of all-time leading experts on the psychedelic experience.
Exactly. And and many people I love him. And
Right.
I definitely have appreciated him and Alan Watts and some of their stuff.
Yeah, Alan
because
Watts
I
too.
love that type of mystical kind of philosophy to varying extents.
Sure.
But I don't like the when it gets too mental masturbation, where it's like you really have no basis for that. But it's an interesting idea. It's like Freud. He's not really doing psychology. He's doing very elaborate poetry in a way.
It's almost like they're just sort of having fun with it.
Yeah, having fun with it.
And they're smart as fuck, and they're articulate and eloquent, and people pay to see them speak. Because, God, I mean, listen, man, you're probably right. Like, he's probably wrong about a lot of stuff.
But it's still interesting. That's what I mean by Freud. He's probably wrong about a lot of stuff. But if you've never read Freud, it's some of the best shit ever.
Freud.
It's fucking amazing.
Dude, people, man, see, I took a couple psychology classes in a community college, at PCC in Mount Sac, and I didn't. They barely mentioned Freud. All they mentioned in I think I took like 3 classes, and like they basically just mentioned that Freud was wrong. And all they said was like, so what everybody knows that Freud said you want to fuck your mom. Well, turns out that's kind of bullshit. But dude, they barely touch on Freud. Dude, Freud
that's the thing he's known for. That's it.
Right? Yeah, but he's so great. Like the Beyond the Pleasure Principle and Civilization and Its Discontents are like must reads.
I have not read either of those.
Oh,
but I have read some of
so good.
I read Moses and Monotheism, which is great, and part of, and I'm still reading, Jokes.
Oh God, yeah.
He wrote a fucking comedy book. Freud wrote one of the first stand-up comedy books.
Well, yeah,
it wasn't stand-up, but it was like about writing comedy.
Because isn't that so? Yeah, it's a whole book about like people's responses, but it's from a time when comedy was so antiquated.
1903 or something.
So like the jokes that he talks about are like he talks a lot about like race jokes, right? And like
ethnic jokes and other sexist jokes, all the stuff. Stuff that is like of that time, but he does have insight into like how.
I see. I guess I never read it, so it must be worth it.
Interesting as fuck.
Because I do love him. Yeah.
But he's a badass. But yeah, it's. I forget what the point was where you were going with that, but like.
What?
Oh yeah, he's known for just the motherfucking shit, and that's
which was
where
very.
he just was like tossed aside. But he wrote about he speculated on all sorts.
He's
of
a
things.
philosopher.
Yeah,
he's a philosopher.
Yeah,
you got to read Freud as you would read any like Nietzsche or something.
Right, and interestingly enough, the first people in the field of psychology, including William James, who's another great philosopher,
love William James.
Fucking amazing shit, and
pragmatism.
But yeah, exactly. They were both early psychologists and philosophers, and they wrote about a bunch of subjects, and they were super smart, and sure they were wrong about a bunch of shit, but they were right about some shit too.
But also I love that old school language. I love how people used to write and speak. There's just a certain aspect. Yeah, they're really smart, and it's seemingly sort of academic.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a poetry to it.
Yeah,
there's a real art to the language that they're using.
And apparently, the William James, I think his brother was Henry.
Henry James.
Yeah, the fucking
excellent writer.
Whatever, wrote a bunch of literature and shit. And
a novelist, I guess. But
I never read any of his stuff, but I'm familiar with that.
Yeah.
So he was. They were both very good with language.
Yeah, I get off on that, man. Like I love Shakespeare.
Right.
I just love that shit. I just love playing with language, you know.
Yeah, and but the point I was gonna make about the these early people like Freud and Jung and William James, they were the foundation of the discipline of psychology, the science of it, which is still, I bitch about it regularly in my stand-up material. I complain it's not really. It's also a very young science. Although it's been around for 120 years or whatever. Yeah. It's really been bullshit for a long time.
And here's one problem that I have, and this is something that has been largely attributed to Freud, although he's not really like. He was coming up with this stuff when it was a new frontier of school of thought. The ego, right?
Right.
So this map of like the ego and the id and the superego, which is great and is really interesting, but people talk about the ego as though it actually exists. People talk about the ego like they talk about the brain.
Right,
or the
right.
heart,
That's
or the
one of the
liver.
problems with classification systems of any type. Like he makes this 3-state system of id, ego, superego, and like everybody's like, it's definitely that. No, like it's not. And that's why
ego,
these are models. Like that's what people have a tough time understanding with a lot of science and math. Is that these are models and linguistic conceptions of these things. They are not these things. There's a very famous saying by another obscure philosopher, that the map is not the territory.
The map is not the terrain.
Yeah. That it's all a description.
Yeah.
Everything is an approximation of things. But I mean, like you said, a brain or a heart or a leg, you can see that's there.
You can see it, but
a mind is such a strange attractor set or whatever. It's such a fucking and that's another thing they have done studies imaging of mental activity, and they found them to also be like there's a lot of chaotic dynamics in that too, strange attractors and stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
In the consciousness, in the electrical shooting around.
Well, probably very idiosyncratic, right? It's probably very dependent upon your development as an individual.
Well, yeah, but in general, that's a common. Like I just saw some. It was a long time ago in a book that had some images of like different scans or whatever, and you could see like time lapse or whatever. And it had the shape of a strange attractor kind of thing.
Wow.
So like we might learn, once we learn more about that math, we might learn more about consciousness and stuff like that, because it's a complex system. We know the mind is a complex system, just like any number of complex systems, an economy or a school of fish or whatever. All these things are like complex. And there's complexity theory, which is kind of a thing next to chaos theory or whatever, where they talk about that sort of thing. And there are tons of books out there on all this shit. Right?
I know, right? It's so funny that it's like, I don't know, like we are not experts, but
but there are plenty of experts writing those books, and you should totally read them.
That's right.
In addition to the fucking psychology books, like the fucking But we're something about those. The Freud and James and those.
Well, I was gonna say that. Everything is an approximation.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the ego, it's not a tangible thing, it's an idea, right? And it helps, and it's really interesting. But yeah, everything is approximation. Like for instance, you know,
And
let's
how
take
close is it?
just arithmetic.
Right.
Right. So like, 1 plus 1 is 2, right? Well, not necessarily. Because first of all, there's an infinite amount of space, let's call it, between the numbers 1 and 2.
Right.
Right?
And between the numbers 1 and 3.
Sure.
Yeah.
And also, let's say you got like 2 oranges, right? How many oranges are there? 2 oranges.
Right.
But that's not sufficient. That's insufficient because not every orange
Is the same
is
size.
the same size
Right.
or the same weight or the same color, right?
Right.
So it's so
And-
that's
yeah, and that's what
and
you-
once you
Yeah.
start thinking about life in that way, then I mean it's like
Yeah. That's a
it's-
smarter way of because everything is to what degree everything's an approximation and everything is a closer or further approximation of a thing, and
Right.
you get to things like that. That's actually a foundation of money and economies or whatever. Is like the fungibility problem of different different sized oranges, and somebody has a cow. How am I supposed to trade my oranges for a cow? How many oranges are worth a cow? We need
Right.
this other thing that represents all things, and so they created money in these units to be
Right.
like, so you could buy a cow or oranges with a certain amount of it solves what's known as
And
fungibility.
well, but you can, and we have like scales now and cool things that we can use to, to a impeccable degree of accuracy, like what something weighs.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
like a pint glass is I don't know what 12 ounces, right? Every beer is 12 ounces, right? We have agreed.
Right, we have a much closer approximation of certain things now because of our
Yeah.
sophisticated
Yeah.
measuring.
And you have alcohol
instruments.
percentage.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and so that influences the price of something, right? So we have all these things,
Right.
So,
What qualities influence the
yeah.
price of things.
And we have machines and robots that can do these things
Very
to an
precisely.
very precisely,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, but even then, it's imprecise.
It's still an
right?
approximation, but it's
and
a much
then
closer
within that
approximation,
remainder,
yeah.
within that remainder, that of what do they call it? The degree of like
Error?
uncertainty. Yeah.
Yeah, uncertainty.
Is-
yeah.
Within that, like it's the same with weight. There's an infinite amount of divisions of even a milligram,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Theoretically, at
Yeah,
least.
yeah, that's what I was kind of getting.
So, there you go.
Yeah, I was kind of hinting at that before. Of like, there's an
Right.
infinite amount of numbers between 1 and 2, and there's
Yeah.
an infinite amount of numbers between 1 and 3. Which infinity
Yeah.
is bigger?
Right.
Right. I mean,
right.
that's the way you get into the mathematics of infinity, which
This
gets
is-
really
yeah.
I don't know dick
But
about
that's
that.
also
It's
pretty
fucking
theoretical
cardinality and shit. Yeah.
Is
Yeah, it's very.
is that the case? Because
There's somebody. There are people who know that shit. I don't know it, but if you look up George Cantor, Cantor,
Hmm.
he had a whole bunch of fucking math and science discoveries about infinity, and all that shit. Yeah, so there are books on that too. I never got into it, but cardinality is a principle of infinity sets
Yeah.
and infinite sets of work. There's a bunch of
Yeah.
shit, but yeah, it's out there. Cantor
I-
discovered a number of things.
I have a tendency of sort of, at least like, I guess intellectually speaking, like sort of putting the cart before the horse. So like I've never I mean, dude, I didn't even get to physics.
Yeah,
I didn't get to
no.
calculus.
I didn't until way later. Like all that shit, I ended up being a tutor for it, but like
Oh, okay.
that's what was my job before moving here or whatever was.
Yeah.
What calculus tutor at college, but like it was, I had only later gone back for engineering at a college, like way after I got my first degree.
Yeah.
So I was like, but yeah, so I similarly, I came to it later, and there's still so much more than those first year and a half, 2 years of math classes.
Yeah.
It gets forever more complex.
Yeah.
And, more than anyone can possibly learn. But some people learn a lot.
Some people learn a lot of it. God, life is too short, man.
Yeah.
Or is it too long? I can't decide.
No, I think there would be plenty for people to do if they knew of those things and expanded their interests. That you
Yeah.
could technically, 100,000 years would be no problem of filling the space. Especially with an expanding complexity of technology, and the crazy
Yeah.
shit that you could possibly do with interdimensional whatever the fuck. I don't
Uh-huh.
know, where unknowns that it goes to. There's
Yeah.
probably a million things. So maybe technology's going there. Maybe we're headed, as people speculate. One of the things about the singularity that whatever his fucking name was talked about, who came up with the idea or whatever originally, was
You're
it
probably talking
technological?
about Kurzweil?
Yeah. Was that we would eventually live forever?
Coined
That
the
was
term,
part
I
of it.
think. Oh,
Yeah.
right. Well, so yeah,
machines.
not just uploading your consciousness into a database,
Right, but that.
but then
enables-
putting that
Yeah.
into a synthetic body.
Right, that can be
that
recycled
is-
if it needs to be. Right.
That is indiscernible from a human being.
Right, and then that you can, anytime it gets damaged, you can Chucky yourself into another body.
Right.
Which is what somebody told me the other day.
So
how
I
that
wonder-
Chucky movie works.
Is that? Because then it raises a question. So what is consciousness? If consciousness is so malleable in that sense, then I mean
That's a big leap, technologically speaking, of uploading consciousness. He just kind of said that in his book, like, we'll be able to do this. And yeah, that's a big fucking program there, buddy.
right,
Like,
yeah.
That ain't gonna be easy.
Well,
to
maybe
have
we can
it.
figure it out on this podcast, though. I think
Yeah.
we can solve the consciousness problem. How much longer do we have?
Yeah,
How long
right.
are we supposed to go?
Whatever. Like, I usually do like an hour and 15, hour and 20 or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Let's see what it's at here. Yeah, it's still going. I've just got to make sure that it doesn't fucking. Sometimes it freezes up or whatever
Yeah.
because I don't have the best equipment.
Yeah,
But
that's
it
okay,
works.
man. That's
It works.
okay.
Yeah.
So, this has been tripping me out. Do we see upside down?
Something like that.
Right?
Or the fucking shit goes in and it's upside down first on the whatever part of the eye, and then it gets flipped.
Okay.
But we don't see upside down as in like everything that I'm looking at is upside down. Not like that.
Right.
Because you can feel the floor.
Yeah. Oh, see, that's what I was gonna say,
Yeah.
dude. Because if we're seeing because it didn't make
Yeah.
sense to me.
I just think
'Cause
how
it's
the
like,
light
if we're
hits the
seeing
back,
everything-
the first image it produces is upside down,
Yeah,
and then it
exactly.
flips it somehow or something.
Oh,
but I
thank
don't
God.
remember a lot about that, but it was
Because I was
something
gonna
like
say
that.
like that doesn't make sense because then the sphere of the Earth would be like inverted and then
Yeah,
like that wouldn't make any sense.
all sorts
Yeah.
of things would
Okay,
be like
right.
really
Yeah,
disintegrate as far as
And
I
like
know in the
gravity,
world.
because
Right,
gravity
right.
goes towards like the center of something. So if we're all seeing upside down, then that means that like our
Right.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So
Anyway.
yeah, I don't know a lot about like the anatomy of the eye and stuff like that, but
Oh, dude,
it's
dude.
my understanding that there's some. It does the first image or something it imprints is upside down and then it flips it.
You know, that's one of the when you go deep into religious debates and
Oh yeah, I have a joke about that.
about the eye.
Yeah.
Okay, what is it? Well, you probably don't want to do your material on the podcast.
Definitely not. But
Uh-huh.
I could play it for the fucking. I don't know. But
Roll
yeah.
clip. Roll
Yeah,
it. Let's
yeah,
roll
yeah.
it.
Well, I can't pause and I could pause and edit it.
No, but I mean, roll it and then now we're back. And
yeah,
welcome
yeah,
back.
exactly. But then I would need to pause it so that you heard it.
Oh sure. Yeah.
But we can't really easily.
Oh,
do
you
that.
can't pause it.
I mean, I
Oh.
could. It would just be a different video.
Whatever.
And I suck at the time.
What's the idea?
Oh yeah, the idea is that a number of anti-evolution creationists, religious Christian fundamentalists,
Yeah.
or whatever, have a whole list of things that they say proves that there's an intelligent designer and not a whatever, as they like to say, it just wasn't random chance or whatever.
Wow.
And they cite the complexity of the perfection of the eye as that, and I call bullshit on it. And Chomsky has a great thing too. Noam Chomsky talked about the spine of human beings just being shit poor design.
Yeah.
Just so
and
bad.
testicles. And,
Any number of things. Are
Male
just
nipples.
So poorly designed.
Well, they evolutionists claim that the male nipple and the testicles might be the way that they are purely for physical pleasure.
Yeah.
They're designed so that stimulation is enhanced.
Right, and famously the testicles are there to keep cool. Also.
Oh, I see.
They're
Okay, my
lowered
bad.
out of the thing for temperature purposes. But
my bad. But yeah, I'm not sure what I would rather have: cool balls, or like having them safe and tucked in. Because like I've been kicking the balls and it hurt a lot. And it's just kinda
but
dangerous.
it was rare, and the temperature thing would be more consistent. So they needed to be like, but
yeah, because you want your boys to be nice and in an air conditioned.
Oh yeah,
you know,
you gotta
you want
stretch
'em feeling
those.
good.
You gotta stretch those hamstrings. Keep them cool.
Yeah, but yeah, man, the eye is a fucking trip. Also, how about all the other animals on the planet who don't have that.
Yeah, exactly.
So
all of that
it's
structure shit is like
yeah, it's actually foundationally from its premise fallacious.
yeah,
logically speaking.
and famously, like Richard Dawkins has shat all over these their arguments.
Absolutely.
Like, he has great documentaries that are old, fucking 1970s,
Oh, I know
1980s
those.
ones
Yeah, those are
from
great.
England or whatever. But yeah, they also misunderstand when they say it's not random, it's not by chance or whatever. Of course, there are all these dynamics.
Yeah.
There's chance dynamics. There's the chaotic dynamics that are they're more linear than statistical. Then there's the more linear attractors and stuff like that. But the biggest one is in evolution is it's cumulative change. So once it has something, it has a bunch of things. Some of those things work, most of them don't. The ones that don't get dropped off or just get left there.
Yeah.
And the ones that work become more useful, so that those things fuck more frequently.
Yeah.
And
I
et cetera, et
remember I was really into this guy, Dr. Kent Hovind. Maybe you know this guy. He's the young Earth guy.
He's
So this
one
guy-
of those fundamentalists.
So I was really into him for a while because I went to a Lutheran middle
Okay,
school.
when you
and
were
I was
religious,
super,
you were in- okay.
I was super religious.
When you were younger, okay.
And so I was like, well, but you know what? What really appealed to me was lies in the textbooks, and how like, hey guys, the government is lying to you, and this is all bullshit. And I really got off on that. I was like, wow, this is really interesting that like the traditional narrative that I was being taught, it turns out to be bullshit. And Kent Hovind displayed a lot of that in a very great way. But then he said one thing that he said was that, oh god, what was it? I think I lost it. Okay, so the banana
Yeah, his banana thing, yeah.
is like an example of like God's ingenuity in how it's
he's
like
just a
perfect.
con artist. That guy.
And then it's like, what about all the other fruit?
Yeah, exactly.
What about the fact that the strawberry?
He was literally
like
cherry picking, banana picking.
he was banana picking.
He was
But
cherry picking with a banana. Like he didn't want to choose the cherry because that would have been too obvious that he was cherry picking. But it would be funny
Right,
if
so
he
went
did
with
choose the cherry. But yeah, it's that kind of.
Oh yeah. Okay. So also, the missing link, right? So the fact that like, there's all these differences between the apes, the great apes, and us, right? And so
There's
where's
differences
the
between them?
Where's the connector? Where's the missing link? Where's the
Right,
ape
I mean,
that
now they
connects? Hey,
All the
evolutionist.
genetic fucking
Yeah.
information. Yeah.
But then the difference between what he says and what people like us would say is, I don't know.
Oh yeah, but I do know some of it, and,
Okay,
and
sure. Well, you
biologists
probably
have,
know more than yeah.
biologists have definitely now, especially with genetic, information. It's all you could see the whole fucking thing. Like here's where the fucking orangutan is. Here's where the fucking gorilla is. Here's where the bonobos and the
Right.
humans are.
Yeah.
Like all the and you could see the whole whatever. The notion of the missing link is an old notion. Before we knew, I mean, shit, even amongst humans, like, how big we've gotten in the past, 50,000 years or whatever, compared, I don't know how small humans initially were, but even Jim Jeffries has a great bit about how we used to be, like, super small, like 4 foot tall, 3.5 foot tall, like, Super Mario looking fuckers or whatever, even back, like, 2,000 or 3,000 years ago, because now we have such an enhanced diet, and everything, and we've been getting bigger and stronger over
And
the past
cooking.
couple thousand years. Yeah, cooking and all that shit.
Cooking, like brought the nutrients out.
Yeah.
And, of course, bringing it full circle, psychedelic drugs. Of course, expanded our consciousness.
Oh, yeah.
By the way,
Made
that's
us
a
better
that's
cooks.
a McKenna. That's McKenna.
Yeah,
the Stone
exactly.
Age theory.
He's the
Which, by the way, I am so into. I think he's really on point with that. I mean, it's a number
it
of things.
definitely relates.
Like I said, cooking, bringing out the nutrients in our diet. Then
Yeah.
also,
But the key
A
is
lot.
it expands consciousness. Those drugs expand consciousness, and that will make you a better cook, a better fucking philosopher, a better fucking tribal leader, a better fucking, finder of useful things in the area,
and
whatever.
might also make you hornier. Might make you want to fuck more, meaning that you will
Maybe, although that's
continue
pretty
the
good.
genes.
That's pretty inherent as well.
It's pretty inherent.
People want to fuck
Well, that's what
without
you
mushrooms But yeah, no, I have done a lot of hallucinogens. I've only fucked maybe like once or twice on them.
I don't.
But,
they don't make me.
But no, I get
at
it.
all.
I get the
But-
fucking sexual energy of hallucinogens. It's there.
It's there, and
fucking awesome.
in like a less evolved
yeah.
ape-like creature,
Right.
it would probably affect them differently.
Right.
I'm not saying that like mushrooms make us as humans horny,
Right.
because
But there's
actually
there's a
quite
part
the
of that.
opposite for
I
me.
mean, sometimes there's depending on the
energy of the
setting
room.
matters, all that shit. Yeah, exactly.
right.
Right.
I guess. Well, yeah. I guess.
So in the right circumstances, it's fucking awesome. But for the most part, it's everything's like, ugh, like even eating. If you try to eat on fucking acid or shrooms, it's like, what
God.
the fuck?
Oh,
You know, it's
God.
like, it's not like it's sickening. It's
I
just
tried to
so
read.
weird. It's yeah, exactly.
I tried to read on mushrooms. It's like, what is
Yeah, the
going on here?
letters are moving too much. It's too
Letters.
difficult to.
And then like you can't like one word to another. It's like, oh well,
Yeah.
like mental feedback, you know.
Yeah, I've tried to write like
Jesus
ideas and
Christ.
shit, like songs, fucking whatever.
Yeah.
And it is just like you look at it later and you're like, okay, first of all, most of this isn't even legible, but if it is, it's not coherent at all. It's like you thought it was the greatest fucking idea, and it may have been, but you weren't able to have a close enough approximation of that information to make it sensible when you're sober.
Yeah.
So you weren't able to get back to what the fuck was the idea. Sometimes you can, but oftentimes
This is
it's part of the trip.
this is true. The same trip, right? Before I started wanting to puke in front of the toilet, I wrote this really long text to my ex-girlfriend, and I was like, oh, God, what do I write? Getting all like emotional and weird, and like I wrote this long thing, and then I sent it, and then I pressed send, and then I threw the phone away, and I was like, fuck. And then later, hours and hours later, right? I I'm sober, and I'm like, oh shit, I threw my phone. Oh, that's right, I texted my ex-girlfriend. What did I text her on shrooms? What did I text my ex-girlfriend? I remember writing this, and then I open it up. I find my phone. I open it up. God, I was like so afraid. What did I text this girl?
Yeah.
And all I wrote was shrooms. I just sent. I swear to God, I wrote this whole paragraph, and then I guess I just deleted it and just wrote.
Wisely, maybe.
I guess so, dude. My future self was going back in time, saying, "Don't do it."
Yeah, you did that Bill and Ted's thing
Absolutely.
with the
yeah.
fucking keys.
I
Remember
guess
that
so.
shit?
Not really.
At the end of the movie, they do this great shit where they like they're like, wait, we need something right now.
Oh,
let's
that's
go
right.
in the future. Let's go back and put this thing right here where we need it.
That's right. Which already happened in the movie.
Well, but it
In the
appeared in the
time,
moment
right.
because they hadn't done it yet, but they
That's right.
put the intention to
And
do
then
it.
that was the
and so
keystone.
yeah, exactly.
That made it all fall into place.
Yeah, that was one of
But
my favorite parts of that. And I love that fucking.
yeah. They're
But
making a new
yeah.
one.
So yeah, you would your future, whatever you thought forward.
I
enough
did,
to
dude.
say,
I said
Don't
shrooms.
send it. Don't
I
send it.
know.
Let's
I
just send shrooms.
I just sent shrooms, and I
And
think
she
she
didn't
just said
respond?
like I don't remember. I think she said like what, and I was like just shrooms.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm so grateful.
Yeah, because it could have been much more awkward than that.
I just would have felt stupid.
Yeah, but that's all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any number of people sent that longer paragraph.
I guess. Yeah. I'm kind of over that whole thing.
Hell yeah. But shrooms, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
You're fucking weird, man.
Dude, I haven't done shrooms in so fucking long. Like,
Yeah?
I haven't done acid in so fucking long, but
Like
I
how
did
long?
it so much. Oh, fucking years and years.
Oh,
and
okay,
years,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I want to again, but I, need to be in a place where, the setting matter. I don't want to be in such a fucking like scraping by sort of situation or whatever. Because it's a heavily, mental experience. So.
See, yeah. Oh my God, you have a fucking landline.
Yeah. Yep. I'm one of the few.
Where's the camera?
Yeah, it's up there.
Where's my camera?
Yeah. But yeah. No, it's already happened in another podcast.
You have a
It
fucking
rang.
landline.
It rang. during the
It
fucking-
works. It's plugged in.
Yeah, I mean, I have fucking smartphone as well.
I
used to have a drop phone too.
I gotta take a
used to have,
picture. I gotta take a picture of a landline with my fucking not landline, dude.
Hell yeah.
Unbelievable.
Let me check the. Yeah, I barely, like I said in the other podcast, I barely use it for anything, but it's there for. Now it's just getting telemarketers is all it gets basically. So I'm probably gonna, it was an extra $10 on the fucking internet charge, so it was like not a big deal.
Okay.
And I thought it was useful. Fucking the speakerphone on it is better, at least on that phone or whatever, than one
Sure.
of these or whatever. So I was like,
Sure.
fuck it. It
It's
was
just
worth
funny,
it.
yeah.
But yeah, it is funny. I am one of the only people with that. But I also had, smartphone, drop phone, that phone.
Fuck
I
yeah.
used to do a little programming or whatever with fucking, there would just be phone, because like VXML, fucking, voice recognition shit. You'd be testing stuff out on phones and shit. So yeah, I like phones.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
But yeah, it's it worked, and yeah, I have a bunch of shitty technology around. Even this new video for the podcast, that's a $20 camera.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it is not at all like high tech. Cheap.
Yeah,
as
look
fuck.
at this. So now that I'm looking at it, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, like the video display looks like it looked like podcasts from like 20 years ago or 10 years ago. Or
Yeah,
something,
look at this. Yeah, you should probably, I would say you should probably get some art like back here, but I feel like that's not really on brand.
Right, right. I guess I could put I have tapestries and shit like that are already sort of up. I could put some shit up.
Yeah.
But because I didn't know when I got I was like, how the fuck, and last week was the first time I did the video one.
Oh,
so I was like trying to set up like how the fuck do I aim this with the
Yeah.
so yeah, I should totally put something. And I get what you're saying, not on brand so to speak, but something. The white, it's a little padded room.
Yeah.
Over there.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty minimal, and yeah.
A little too minimal.
No,
over there.
I mean it's all good.
I mean it works. The speakers,
As far as
them
like,
in there.
doing a mind-altering psychedelic drug, I would say probably the woods would be a little better.
Oh yeah. Oh definitely.
Especially if you live here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If I was tripping again, I wouldn't want it to just be chilling in, this cubby hole.
Get that spackled roof.
Yeah. Or ceiling. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yep. It's fucking.
You going to the store tonight?
Hope to. Yeah. That's right. It's Monday. Yep. Gonna go
Monday.
over there, and I got a show tomorrow in Phoenix.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Doing an hour in Phoenix. I'll probably post this later today. So.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, if the 4 people that are watching this later today, if one of you happens to live in Phoenix, 8 p.m. at Rips Bar.
Sorry, yeah, 8 p.m. at Rips Bar. Yeah, sorry. Sorry
Tuesday,
to interrupt.
June 25th. No, yeah,
Tuesday, June 25th.
Totally inconsequential.
Sorry. But you know what would be great? I'll tell you later. But remind me that I have something to ask, to request. But this girl invited me to go to the Hollywood Improv for a show at the Lab at 9:30, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to the store. And she was like, why? And I was like, first of all, I work in a comedy club. I work at the Ice House Comedy Club.
Hell yeah.
So I'm not gonna pay to see comedy.
Right.
Also, it's a free show. Kill Tony.
Yeah.
Get in. Sign up. You get in. And there's no drink minimum.
Right. Okay.
Or I go drive further to the Hollywood Improv. 2 drink minimum.
Pay to get in.
And I gotta pay to get in.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do?
Yeah. Exactly.
What am I gonna do?
Yep, it makes the choice for you. And it's like I'm almost always at the store because there's so many great shows all the time. All my favorite comics, and it's constantly and they let comics watch for free if there's space,
That's right.
And especially after hours, it's fucking it's an extraordinary fucking place, man. And see a lot of badass shit. And today.
Yeah, I'm surprised we went through this whole thing without talking about the store.
I know,
because that's how we know each other.
Yeah. Actually, I met you at the store, and then I've seen you at the Ice House a few times. But but generally speaking, Mondays is when you're there at the store.
Mondays, dude.
Hell yeah.
I'll probably go. I don't know. Maybe I'll just fucking. I just bought a PlayStation 4.
Oh, okay.
For
like old school.
Well, I mean, I don't know how old a PlayStation 4 is. I guess it is pretty old.
I don't
But
know.
there's no newer one.
Fuck, I have a 2.
It's the newest one. You have a PS2.
I was not
This
hooked up,
fucking
but
guy.
like I have one from years and years ago.
Oh, okay.
And I bought it used years
Right,
after the
right,
fact.
right.
You know.
But I just want to say this publicly. Shout out to Ryan from Craigslist. PS4, all the cables with a controller, $125. Suck it, dude.
Hell yeah.
Sorry, I
Yeah, buying
just
it
wanted to
used-
sort of show off.
Yeah,
shout
buying
out.
it used from Craigslist or whatever is not like an advertisement for the new product. It's getting it secondhand.
Yeah, all right,
On an-
man. I
on an
feel good
independent
about
market.
it. Okay.
No, yeah, I know. You know, it's fucking.
Dude, I live a secondhand life, man.
Yeah,
I live
that's-
a secondhand
that's a
life. I
good-
drive a secondhand car. I wear
It's the way
secondhand
to go,
clothes.
man.
I play secondhand video games, man. I only buy pre-owned, and if I ever buy clothes, thrift store always.
Huh? Hell yeah. Well, yeah, I wear the same thing.
Yeah, you don't even. You're a whole other level, dude.
of just laziness.
Like, it's not. It's beyond laziness, dude.
I guess it would
Your wardrobe is it couldn't. Laziness doesn't even touch the surface because it's not really laziness.
Yeah,
Is
there's a list of reasons. Yeah, I have bits on albums that are. I guess I'm editing together the album of stand up that has most of that in it. But yeah, there's many reasons.
Yeah.
I talked about a little bit on Gil Tony before, or whatever. The fucking. I mean, there is the laziness. I'm a minimalist. There's the fucking. These are the most comfortable clothes I ever came across, so I just fucking wear them all the time. And when they deteriorate off, I put on the new one. You know?
Well, two things. First of all, you got a little bit of a midriff going now.
I know it's falling apart,
that the
yeah.
tummy is starting to emerge.
It is
not
totally.
not in terms of you're gaining weight,
No,
but in
but
terms
it's
of
visible.
the shirt is just deteriorating
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the point where the
And
tummy.
I go through the t-shirts a lot more frequently than the others.
Okay.
So
Well, right,
like,
because it's touching your.
It's about to be a new t-shirt.
Okay.
Because I've been through like 3 t-shirts
Yeah.
underneath these same things in the same 2-year period or whatever. So yeah. Once it starts to get like that, it starts to deteriorate. So it's like, so it looks like, especially because this has a fucking gaping hole in the front too. It's just like, yeah. Then I gotta.
Well,
just to
you'll
go
notice-
into a public place, I have to put on a t-shirt underneath it, or else they'll be like, get out of here. You know.
I have my I usually don't wear this shirt without a second layer.
But you know you're
Because
coming
but
in
it
here.
is this is my favorite shirt. I love this shirt. I wear it all the time with a second layer. It's got holes in it and shit. And I was like, I mean, it's too hot to wear a second layer. But then I was like, oh, I'm going to Chris Heist's place. I want
Fuck yeah.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you shouldn't. Yeah, hell yeah.
You know. So
Awesome.
there you go. So I'm wearing my Chris shirt.
Hell yeah. Well, fuck yeah. Well, yeah. Thanks for doing the podcast again,
It
man.
was my pleasure.
Fucking,
I'd love to do it again.
Yeah, we'll do it. Yeah, because this is
You
the
know.
beginning. This is like the 7th episode or something, and only the 2nd one with video. So, yeah. Fucking badass, man.
Is it you don't have anything to say at the end like?
No, that's the thing. Like, I would be like, hey, go to chrisice.com, but that's
Yeah.
where you got this podcast. Or,
Right.
or
YouTube.
you know, or the YouTube channel, which has that website already. You got anything like your site or Instagram?
I mean,
Twitter?
Instagram. Oh, I just made an Twitter. I gotta come up with the same name for the Instagram and the Twitter because the Instagram is at Gillennium, like millennium but with a G, and then the Twitter is free Gilly, free_Gilly. So I like them both, but Gillennium is taken on Twitter and free Gilly is taken on Instagram.
Hell yeah. And yeah, I actually changed my Instagram a few weeks ago to Chris_Heist because it had been Chris Heist 1, but
Yeah.
it was a little too much.
Underscore's better.
Underscore's better.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's now Chris_Heist. I probably said the other one on a previous thing. I haven't been using my Twitter yet, so I won't so I won't. I guess I'll fix that in the next couple weeks or whatever.
I'm still figuring it.
But yeah, there'll be a new stand-up album probably in the next couple
Fuck
weeks
yeah.
or so.
Fuck yeah.
An EP probably, editing it together now.
Yeah.
But yeah, fucking us. So yeah, thanks again. Fucking yeah, we're heading to the store basically.